Leadership Portfolio Entertainment Law Podcast. Kimberly Dade. 3 topics covered: trademark, copyright, estates. Trademarks: IJR Capital Investment versus Viacom International Incorporation. IJR Capital Investments wanted to name the restaurant Krusty Krab. Everyone knows that Krusty Krab is the restaurant name from the SpongeBob SquarePants television series. IJR Capital filed a trademark application in 2015 with the hopes to be able to use the name Krusty Krabs. Viacom quickly filed a lawsuit to stop the company from using the name Krusty Krab. Viacom feared that the restaurant's name would be associated with SpongeBob SquarePants television series and didn't want to confuse consumers. Everyone would agree, Viacom, if anyone saw the restaurant name Krusty Krab, they would assume it was associated with the television series. Verdict. Conclusion. The court finds IJR in violation of trademark infringement. Judge Gary H. Miller. According to Viacom's motion for summary, judgment is granted in part as to its trademark infringement and denied in part as to its delusion, false designation, unfair competition, and refusal of registration claims. Viacom. Copyrights. Agner versus CBS and Paramount Pictures. Agner video and script was too close to the movie that everybody knows called Star Trek. The script and the language featured copyrighted Volcom ears and Klingon language. Paramount and CBS copyright suit against Alex Peters, who raised money through crowdfunding to fund his films. CBS and Paramount turned a blind eye for several years before they filed the lawsuit against Peters. Again, they didn't want anyone to mistake Peters' film for the Star Trek movies and series. I would have thought that Peters was the creator of Star Trek movies if I didn't read this lawsuit. What is surprising to me is the way CBS and Paramount Pictures handled the lawsuit, and I didn't try and sue for money. Instead, the following guidelines were laid out for Alex Peters to follow, which he took as a compliment from CBS Paramount Pictures to sue him. Verdict. Conclusion. Single story, run times 15 to 30 minutes. No additional season. Episodes, parts, sequels, remarks. They cannot use Star Trek fan production. The content must be original. The fan production must be a real fan production, i.e. creators, actors, and all other participants must be amateurs, cannot be compensated for their services, and cannot be currently or previously employed on any Star Trek series, films, production, or DVDs, or with any of CBS or Paramount Pictures license, must cease funding at $50,000, along with several other guidelines that Alex Peters has to follow. CBS and Paramount Pictures reserves the right to revoke guidelines. Estates. NPG Records include versus Roc Nation LLC. Jay-Z affiliated company Roc Nation are trying to make moves on Prince's song catalog. This is just as surprising that Prince and other superstars do not have their estates left to someone or a will made out that could handle anything in case of their death. Roc Nation had a verbal deal to stream 15 Prince albums on the newly recorded Hit and Run album. NPG Records stands that Roc Nation is committing copyright infringement. After looking over the case, this is not the end of Roc Nation streaming Prince's Hit and Run album. It's hard to see how the judge could award anyone anything with the death of the artist formerly known as Prince. He didn't leave his estate to anyone, and with the artist no longer alive and not leaving his estate to anyone, wouldn't it be Safe to say, Rock Nation can stream the Hit and Run album after putting up millions of dollars. This is not over, and it will be a one-sided trial if held in the same courtroom. Verdict. Conclusion. There will be a trial. Rock Nation will pay attorney fees and damages. Rock Nation can only stream the Hit and Run album. Summary. After looking over these three cases and what they have went through or are going through, KLMD will definitely have their trademarks in place, copyrights in order, and estates and wills made out. In reality, it's mind-blowing to see the cases where Alec Peters used the name Star Trek in his film title. This should have been a no-brainer. The case with Krusty Krab, even an elementary student would tell you that SpongeBob SquarePants restaurant, it was amazing to see anyone try to get away with suing the name Rock Nation. It is in for a battle. But looking over the documents, Rock Nation has all the rights to go after whatever they can. One thing they should ask to see is surveillance cameras, tapes, etc. Prince, as we know him, should have had some of the footage of them making a deal or even talking things over. Rock Nation probably has information as well and just haven't presented it to the court. There is just no way anyone invests $10 million and no one have or something in writing. Jay-Z, a businessman, unlike Prince, as we can see, he didn't heed to the advice of leaving an estate to anyone. Their entertainment law podcast with Gordon P. Firemark and Tamara Bennett was eye-opening. This podcast will save KLMD money and has taught the company to invest the time in learning what needs to happen in order to avoid lawsuits.